Welcome to room 9, the region's largest classroom. I am Mrs. Wright and I teach at Monroe Elementary in St. Charles. Today I will be teaching a reading lesson meant for second graders, but as always, everyone of all ages is welcome to join us. Wow, look at that cute hair I got going on, guys. I am back in my pajamas, I should say, for this week's lessons, which can only mean one thing, guys. It's time for another poetry pajama party. So, if you don't have your jammies on, go get them on. I have on my robe, I'm all cuddly, and I'm ready to read and analyze and write some poetry. Okay, I'll let you get those jammies on. And how are you guys? I bet you're doing amazing. You are probably, I think next week will probably be a little bit of a Thanksgiving break. So you're probably getting a little excited, I bet. I know that you're working really, really, really hard. And I also know that your teachers are super proud of you and they feel super thankful to be your teacher. Just like I feel super thankful that I'm your teacher too. You watch these every week with us and you participate, and that makes me really happy. So I am thankful for you, my friends. So this week, like I said, we are going to dive back into poetry. We are going to do things a little differently this week with our poetry standards. We are going to review today, and then the next couple of days, I have this book at the Seafloor Cafe, and we are going to explore from this book certain types of poems. And then we are going to attempt, without me making them in advance, to write some of the same types of poems. Now, some of them, I think, easy peasy. Not going to be a hard thing to do at all. I think some of them, it'll be a little more challenging, and I'm going to do that right with you. I'm not going to write it ahead of time, because I'm going to show you my thought process and how how you write poems, what it looks like to write poetry, and to what these types of poems really, really, truly mean, okay? So, I hope you are excited for today. I know I am. So let's go ahead and get started with some deep breaths. Oh, you got your jammies on. Stretch. Oh, yeah. Stretch to the side, to the other side. Oh, man. My back right in the middle. Kind of stiff. Woo. Yes. All right. So, I hope you have your jammies on with me. I hope you are ready to learn. We did our stretching. Let's do our deep breaths. Okay, ready? 3 in, hold for 3, 3 push out. Where's Molly? Hold on. Molly, come here. Maybe she'll come. Ready? Here we go. Deep breaths. Good job. Do it again. Last time. Perfect. Let's try again. Where is she? Molly! She really doesn't listen to me very well. I think I told you that a million times. Okay, so here we go. Let's get this party started for today. Our objective is I will be able to analyze and write different types of poetry. So there are 2 poetry words that are going to come up a lot this week that I wanted to review with you. And we probably didn't talk about these in depth last time. So we're gonna talk about these, and then we're gonna talk about a couple more elements of poetry. So a couplet is 2 lines that rhyme, and it has like the same pattern and the same kind of beat. So an example of that is double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, okay? So it rhymes, trouble and bubble rhyme, and you can hear it, the beat is the same. So I don't know if you remember, but we've learned that poetry does have kind of like a rhythm to it. It almost feels like a song, and there is a beat to it sometimes. So that's what this is saying right here. 2 lines that rhyme, it's the same pattern and the same beat. So this line has the same pattern, and this line has the same pattern. So double, double, toil and trouble. Okay, and it says fire burn and cauldron bubble. So like I said, double and trouble, or I'm sorry, trouble and bubble rhyme. And then it also has an and in both lines to kind of help with that beat. Okay, so a stanza is lines that relate to a similar thought or a topic. A stanza is like a paragraph, has its own concept, and it might be arranged according to rhyming patterns and beat. Okay, so stanza I think of as like paragraphs. There might be different paragraphs in a poem. Maybe it's just one paragraph in the poem, one stanza. Maybe that's more than one stanza. But generally, the stanza in a poem, if there's rhyming, it's going to happen within that stanza. And then if there's a new one and there's rhyming, it'll happen within that stanza. Okay? Okay, so these are 2 important things to remember. Couplet and stanza. And I'm just going to remind you, I am far from a poetry expert. I do teach poetry, but I also feel like it's something, and I've said it before, it's outside of my comfort zone. So a lot of this stuff I am learning more in depth as I teach you guys. So I know some things about poetry, but I'm also learning them as I go. So that hair. Let's keep going with, that was a little definition of a couplet and a stanza. Now, let's just read a little poetry to get our brains going, okay? And this poem, this is actually a book of poems, and it is all centered around odd ocean critters. Okay, so it says, at the Seafloor Cafe, odd ocean critter poems. And this is being used with permission from Peachtree Publishing. So it's interesting because these poems in this book are teaching you about these ocean animals that are kind of weird, and then it also gives you facts. So it's super interesting. So let's dive in with the first poem that's called Dive In, okay? Here we go. Let's visit a habitat shallow and deep and boiling hot where acids seep and frigid and pressured and mounty steep. Come explore the sea. Did you notice any elements of poetry that we've already learned or talked about the last time just in that first section? Which, that first section would be called you got it, it would be called a stanza. So let me read this again, okay? It says, let's visit a habitat shallow and deep and boiling hot where acids seep and frigid, I'm trying to read it backward, and pressured and mountainy steep. Come explore the ocean sea. Do you hear that rhythm and that rhyme? Those are 2 elements that we've learned about poetry that are in there. So deep, steep, those all rhymed. And there was like a beat to it, right? Let's visit a habitat shallow and deep and boiling hot where acids seep and frigid and pressured and mountainy steep. Come explore the sea. So that was the first stanza. Here we go. Examine odd critters, enormous and tiny, sunlit, reef toasty, and Arctic ice, briny. Jellyish, delicate, venomy, spiny. They all live in the sea. Okay, so I'm noticing, again, this stanza, the words repeat at the end. There's the same kind of beat to it. And then both of them end with a line that ends in the word sea. So the first stanza had come explore the sea. And then this one has they all live in the sea. Okay, let's keep going. They're hunters and foragers, hiders and peekers, continuous feeders and once a meal weakers. They're swarmers, attachers, attackers, and sneakers. They all thrive in the sea. So that's teaching us about this topic already. They're hunters and foragers. So the animals that we're going to be learning about this book, they hunt, they hide, they peek, they feed all the time, or maybe they eat once a week. They're attachers, they're snackers, they're sneakers. They all thrive in the sea. So like they all do really well living in the sea. They drift in the currents. They're darting and bolting. They're eelish, concealish, electrically jolting. They're brightly hued, luminous, slightly revolting. Come see them in the sea. The ocean is planet Earth's main attraction, yet humans have fathomed the tiniest fraction. Now we go deeper into the action. Dive in and see the sea. Okay, what words rhyme in that last stanza? What words rhyme? Good. Attraction, fraction, action. So 2 things to review really quickly are syllables and rhyming. So rhyming is the last part of a word. So like hot and pot rhyme because they both have ot, right? So the onset is the p and the h, and the rhyme is the ot, okay? So you can always split words into the onset and the rhyme. So when it's talking about the rhyme, they literally, in the same way, they rhyme, okay? So let me also remind you that syllables are the way that words are broken up. So like cat. Cat has 1 syllable, or hat, 1 syllable. Awesome. Awesome. That has 2 syllables. Syllables, the way words are broken up. And that's going to be an important skill to know, syllables, when it comes to poetry. Because a lot of poems are built around the number of syllables in the poem. Okay? All right. So basically, this is an introduction part of the poem that's telling us, hey, this whole book is going to be about animals that are ocean critters, and you probably don't know about a lot about them, okay? And they did a great job. They used stanzas, they used rhyming. It totally had a beat, okay? So let's read a little bit more. This says, party poppers, bumblebee, troublebee, sponge-dwelling, social shrimp, clack 1 big claw to make trespassers stop. Causing explosions. What is that word? Oh, man. Crustaceanologically, filling the ocean with snap, crackle, pop. Oh, look what they did at that craft move. They made those words bigger as it got to pop. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's analyze this poem. Party poppers. Now, this reminds me of something important about poetry. Listen to this poem again. Party poppers. Bumbledy, troubledy, sponge-dwelling social shrimp. Clack one big claw to make. Trespassers stop. Causing explosions. Crushation logically, filling the ocean with snap, crackle, pop. So, back on this page, when we were reading Dive In, this was more like a story, right? It kind of was using almost full sentences and telling us the information in ways that already made sense. Now, when we're turning to this page about party poppers, it's still giving us information, but it's doing it in words or phrases that aren't necessarily complete sentences. So it's causing you to have to think a little bit more and figure out what the author is trying to teach us. So that's what I'm going to do this time. It's a good reminder that poetry doesn't really have any rules. You can kind of do whatever you want when it comes to writing poetry. So, party poppers. I'm going to read it one more time. Bumbledy, troubledy, sponge-dwelling social shrimp, clack one big claw to make trespassers stop, causing explosions, crustaceanally, filling the crack with snack, crackle, pop. Interesting. Okay. So I think what it's trying to teach us is that these party poppers are shrimp, and they have one big claw that keeps other animals away, and it's loud. It makes loud noises. Okay, so now we're going to read about snapping shrimp. Now this part is not poetry at all, and it's just teaching. It says, snapping shrimp are small, warm water shrimp that can clack their bigger front claw so fast that it shoots out of a jet of water, forming an underwater bubble. The bubble collapses with the snap. Predators that come too close can be injured by shock waves. Wow. Prey such as marine worms and small fish can be stunned or even killed. When an intruder nears the shrimp colony, one shrimp snaps a warning, back off. Soon others pick up the signal and join in the snapping to chase the intruder away. Interesting. Okay, here is another poem, Walk Like a Nut. Okay, let me get up close and show you. This octopus walks backward on 2 arms and wraps the other 6 around its top. Oops, let me see that. It ambles free of predatory harms and thus avoids becoming shark-chewed slop. It winds 6... I can't read it, guys. I'm sorry. It winds 6 tentacles around its top, pretending to be a flat Sam Shark's ignore, and treads away from trouble, flippy flop, instead of being chomped to guts and gore. A coconut that strolls across the ocean floor. Okay, I'm going to reread it because I didn't do it justice there. Walk like a nut. This octopus walks backward on 2 arms and wraps the other 6 around its top. It ambles free of predatory harms and thus avoids becoming shark-chewed slop. It winds its 6 tentacles around its top, pretending to be a flat sham shark's ignore, and treads away from trouble, flippity-flop, instead of being chomped to guts and gore. A coconut that strolls across the ocean floor. All right, go ahead and look for any rhyming in that poem. Yeah, I agree. Arms, harms, top, slop, top, flop, ignore, gore, floor. Okay, now let's read about this coconut octopus. The coconut octopus wraps 6 of its arms around its head and walks backward on its 2 other arms. This movement makes the octopus look like a coconut drifting across the ocean seafloor near Indonesia. Predators hunting for this 8-tentacled snack pass on by. Interesting. All right, this looks fun. It looks like in this poem, there's 2 different voices. That's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna read this and I'm going to change my voice while I read it. Do you think I can do that? It says, the leopard sea cucumber and the emperor shrimp. Okay, here I go. I inch along. We hitch a ride. We tour the seafloor countryside. I'm ship. We're crew. We swab the decks by eating scummy algae specks. I'm camouflage in leopard spots. While not the swiftest off the yachts, a top-notch spot to meet a mate. When threatened, I eviscerate. To spew my guts is quite a chore, and it takes weeks to grow some more. But I keep predators away. We live to crew another day. Okay, now it says, sea cucumbers are best known for spewing long, sticky, toxic tubules from their insides when disturbed. Some can shoot out many other body organs too. This is called evisceration. If a sea cucumber spews toxic guts at a predator, the hitchhiking emperor shrimp are also protected. To earn their keep, these small shrimp clean bacteria and algae from the leopard sea cucumber's skin. So it sounds like those shrimp, they ride along the ocean floor on the back of this leopard sea cucumber, and they both mutually benefit from each other. So the shrimp don't have to do it on their own. They move because they're attached to something. Looking at the picture, it kind of shows you there. You see those guys attached? Yeah. And the shrimp are also protected by the leopard sea cucumber, it sounds like. And the shrimp keep this leopard sea cucumber's skin clean from bacteria and algae. So this is super interesting to me, and this is a good reminder that poetry can teach. Okay, poetry can be about feelings, poetry can be about whatever you want, but it can also teach, and that's what this book is doing. This book is teaching us about critters, these odd, weird ocean critters, all through poems, okay? So we are going to take the last few minutes and we are going to write a poem, and it can be about anything. There's no rules, so I want you to grab something to write on and something to write with super fast and come back here. 10 seconds, go. All right, welcome back. That was probably a little more than 10 seconds. I decided while you were going to get something on to write on or something to write with, that we are going to write a poem about school. So I want you to write school somewhere on your paper, SCHOOL, and this is a free, you can write however you want. You can make your poem rhyme, you can make your poem not rhyme, you can write sentences, you can just write random words that have to do with school. You can decide how you want your poem to go, but I want it to be a poem about school and maybe about the way you feel about school, or maybe some of the things you do at school. And then we're gonna share our poems, okay? You have about 1 minute, go for it. Remember, no rules, don't overthink it. can do it. No rules, no rhyming unless you want. All right. Finish up in a couple minutes or a couple seconds. And then I would like you to find someone to share your poem with, okay? Maybe someone's not available right now that you could share it with. Maybe you could share it with them later. Maybe you need a little more time to finish it. But I want you to share with someone how you're feeling about school, because no matter if you're virtual, if you're hybrid, if you're in person, school's different this year, right? If you're in person, you're wearing a mask. And if you're at home, you're learning from a computer screen all day that you've never done before. And if you're hybrid, sometimes you're at home and sometimes you're at school. And school has a lot of big feelings this year. And it's something that we're used to always being the same and consistent. And this year, it feels different. So this is my poem about school, okay? School, my second home. Students, teachers, staff, like family. I just wish I could hug everyone. School. And that's how I feel. I love being at school. I just want to hug everybody. That's how I feel. So I want to remind you that poetry is fun because there are no rules. So we are going tomorrow to explore some more parts of poetry, and I can't wait to see you back. Bye.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.